Hi, welcome to Marshashana Yoga. Spring is here and I'm so glad you can join me today. We'll be talking about the wrist. The wrist and hands do a lot of work for us. They have to be strong and coordinated to do the tasks at hand, those involving fine motor skills. The structures in the hand that make normal hand function happen need to be properly aligned and controlled. Those structures include bones, joints, ligaments, and tendons, nerves, and muscles. The back of the hand is called the dorsal side, and the palm side of the hand is called the palmar side. The hands and wrists are made up of 27 bones. The wrist itself is complicated. A complex system made up of the 8 bones in the wrist, which are called carpals, and these join with the 2 bones in the forearm, the ulna and the radius. If you hold your hand in the thumbs up gesture, the bone that is on top of the forearm is the radius. The other one on the bottom is the ulna. These 3 structures, the carpals, the ulna, and the radius together, form the wrist joint. Going more towards the palm, those carpals connect to the metacarpals, and there are 5 of these, and each one connects to each finger and each thumb. There are little bone shafts that align to form the thumb and fingers, and these are called phalanges. The muscles that actually move the fingers and thumbs are in the forearm above the wrist. There are long tendons that go from the forearm muscles down to the wrist, where they attach to the small bones of the fingers and thumbs. The tendons are fibrous, flexible cords that attach muscle to bone. As you bend or straighten the fingers, it causes the tendon to slide through a tunnel known as a tendon sheath, and that keeps the tendon in place right next to the bone. All the muscles in the arm and the wrist are integrated in their job of keeping the wrist and hand either stable or moving. The hand ligaments join bones together. They are composed of tough tissue, and the wrist has 6 major ligaments. They are what gives stability to the wrist. The ligaments also join the wrist to the hand. Also involved are joint capsules, which are made of connective tissue and surrounds the joints. And inside the joint capsules is a synovial membrane, and that provides the lubrication to the joints. There are 3 major nerves that run through the wrist and hand and are related to the touch sensation. So what can go wrong with the hands? Well, inflammation for one, arthritis. There can also be tightness or strain or spasm. Tendinitis is a common complaint, as is carpal tunnel syndrome. This causes tingling, numbness, and pain in the hand, and is caused by pressure on the median nerve in the wrist. Dislocation of the wrist can also be problematic. If you have been watching the show, you know I do this action. Sometimes we do it on the floor. We're extending the hand and then flexing the wrist. So often we don't fully extend the wrist. It's generally in a position of half extension, like when we're writing or doing most any other activity that involves the hand, if you think about it. And this is where we have our best grip, but we create a situation where we are not using the flexibility. So we lose that range of motion. Therefore, in yoga, we attempt to allow the wrist to experience full extension and full flexion. If you're having a bad day with your wrists, then avoid the poses that demand a deeper flexion. A lot of the wrist pain can come from inflammation, which stretching will not help to reduce. Usually the wrist pain comes and goes, so if you're having pain from it, skip it for the day. If you have a lot of discomfort doing the poses, you can use a wedge to lift the heel of your hands, and I'll show you that later. It lifts your heels a little higher than your fingers and takes some of the pressure off the wrist. Even if you're not using a wedge, attempt to bring the weight off the heels when you're in a pose like down dog, and press more into the finger pads, particularly the index finger. Look at your hands when you're down there. Some people tend to cup the hands. Also, if you're practicing outside on the lawn or in the sand, be even more careful because of the softness and shifting of what's below you. In addition, it's better to avoid long periods of time on the hands. Also, are you straining the wrists during postures because of the misalignment of your shoulders, arms, or hands? For instance, maybe there are times when you are straining when you could do something slightly differently. Maybe in Warrior Two, when we extend the arms out to the sides, we can become more quickly fatigued in the forearms, shoulders, and even the neck. Try extending through the arms while softening the wrist and lengthening through the tops of the fingers. Notice the palms of the hands and draw some energy up from the palms to the armpits, as though you were breathing in through the palms. Now try firming the underside of the arms by pushing down slightly on the palms. And then the shoulder blades will move down the back, so the weight shifts to the upper back, which is stronger. Relax the tops of the forearms, the shoulders, and the arms. Of course, if a student has had surgery or major problems in the area, they would want to consult a doctor before doing weight-bearing postures. And everyone should rest the wrists as they feel it is needed. So let's move to the mat and do some yoga. So we begin here today by noticing our connection to our breath. We observe the natural rhythm of the breath. The rise and the fall. We just observe the breath, noticing, is it high up in the chest? Are we breathing into the belly? Just observing, honoring the breath, which is so important. We know that the breath is automatic and we don't often give it thought. But it's beneficial to breathe fully and deeply. And as we rest here observing the breath, we allow our concerns to just drift away. We know that there are many thoughts in our head all day long, from the minute we wake up until the minute we fall asleep. And in yoga, we just attempt to tame that monkey mind, to just reel it in a little bit, rein it in a little. And we do that by attending to the breath. So let's begin to take a 3-part breath here. So we breathe into the belly first, filling it like a cup, and then into the ribs, and up into the top, right to the chest, and all in one fluid movement. We just retain for a second at the top, and then we exhale, chest, ribs, abdomen. Again, a nice big breath into the belly, expanding the ribs laterally and up into the chest. And releasing chest, rib cage, abdomen. Bring the hands to the sides. Just let them rest on the lower ribs as your elbows rest on the floor. And for a moment, just notice the rise and fall of your breath. Notice the warmth of your hands. In yoga, we attempt to move the ribs laterally as we breathe, which is kind of a new way of thinking. It takes a while to practice and get accustomed to that idea of filling it sideways. And then you can just release your legs from this posture, from Supta Baddha Konasana, bound angle, and we'll just set the blocks aside. Extending the legs long and extending the arms behind you, thumbs leading. We push the heels away as we spread the fingers and reach behind us, lengthening the body, elongating the spine. Take a few breaths here, so don't hold your breath because your lungs are compromised. You want to hold the breath, but we want to breathe, continue to breathe. And then take a big inhalation. Allow your arms to come down in time with your exhalation, just moderating that. Bring the feet to the floor one at a time and gently sway the knees back and forth. We notice the connection to the body to the mat. We notice the movement across the bones and tendons of the lower back. And coming back up to center. Bring the arms up in the air and touch your thumb to your index finger, sa. And then the thumb to the middle finger, ta. Thumb to the ring finger, na. Thumb to pinky, ma. Again, let's do it together. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Birth, life, death, rebirth. Tuck your thumb inside your fist, loose fist. Make your arms long, settle your shoulders down, and rotate the wrist. Go the other way. Press your palms up, just as we talked about, getting that full extension of the hands. And then drop the fingertips down. Feel the nice stretch to the top of the wrist. Palms up, arms long and straight, fingers down. Palms up, fingertips down. Extend the arms long, extend the legs long, stretch the body, open up the sides of the waist and the ribs. Exhale the arms down by the sides. And then just gently come up and push your bolster and pillow off to the side, and we'll come down to a flat back posture. And once again, we'll go for that full extension. So extend the arms, extend the legs, stretching the body. Exhale the arms down by the sides. And just for a second, lift the hips up and just move the buttocks flush down towards the heels and settle back down, just to flatten that and get that nice flat back. Of course, I always spend a good amount of time warming up the back because it's just a good idea to prevent injury, or if a lot of people have back issues. But we begin to point the feet. Let's point the feet, flex them, point them, and flex them. The feet have been in shoes all winter. They want to be stretched. And then bring them apart a little further and make some circles. We always try to keep the movement slow so the mind doesn't go off on the shopping list. Bring the toes together. And now join those two toes together, letting the heels slide apart, and point them away. And a nice stretch there. And then come back up and windshield wiper them back and forth, feeling that right up to the hips. And then bring the legs back to center and just tap them. Once more, extend the arms, extend the legs. Exhaling down. Bring the feet to the floor one at a time and draw your knees into your chest one at a time and gently rock them in and out. Just really releasing that lower back. Let the arms go long forward and then go back and forth across that lower back, the sacrum area. And then coming back to center. Bring the feet down to the floor. Draw your left knee in towards your chest. Hug it in a second. Take a breath. Extend the leg up, interlace behind, push the thigh into the hands, press the sole of the foot upward, stretching the hamstrings. Lower the thigh down towards the chest, extend it back up. Point and flex the foot. Bring that foot down to the floor, draw the other leg into the chest, take a breath. Extend the leg up, interlace behind, push that sole up to the ceiling, spread your toes if you can. And then point and flex the foot a few times. Push the sole up, draw the thigh down. Push it back up. Again, come down and push the legs straight, just stretching the hammies. Bring that down, extend your legs. Take the bottom of your left foot and bring it just above the right knee. Don't put any pressure, just hovering there softly. Take the left hand, you can take it either to a slight T or you can take it all the way out, whatever feels good, always honoring your own body. And then take your right hand and draw that right knee over towards the right. And as you do that, you try to make a nice straight line here. You try to keep the shoulder over there down a bit. Try to roll those upper ribs back towards that way. And now take your hand and just work for a minute with the other hand, just massaging up that hip. We hold a lot of emotions in our hips, a lot of tightness there for people. This always feels pretty good. So just going right down the side of the leg. And then coming back up, extend that leg. Take the bottom of your right foot, place it above your left knee. Right hand out to a T or a slight T. Take the other hand, draw it across. Let the head move a little to the right. And then just take that and just work that hip right down, just a little massage in that area. I think you'll probably be surprised to feel how tight you are. I had a class this morning where I did this to a few of my students, and I could tell they were quite surprised at the tightness there. We don't really feel it until we touch that area. And then coming back, extend the legs, extend the arms. Exhaling down. Bring the feet to the floor one at a time and draw those knees in again. Hold behind your thighs about halfway up. And don't bring the thighs all the way to the chest, just part way, point and flex. Do some rotations and the other way. Now draw the thighs way down, pushing those soles up and point and flex. And then draw the soles of the feet together, point the toes up in the air. Use your elbows if you want to open that groin area a bit more. Release the feet to the floor, extend the arms, extend the legs. Exhaling down. And just bring your feet back to the floor once more, and again, draw them up. And this time, just rocking back and forth. And try to rock a little further up on the spine. Just getting that upper part of the back, rocking crooked. And just getting that to break up some tension up there. And then just rocking up to a seated position. So we'll come to Sukhanasana, this simple seated position. We're going to extend the hands up and interlace them down to the webbing. Turn the palms upward. Inhale, exhale. Then we're going to stretch one arm up as we lean to the side a little. Now keep seated, so don't draw the buttocks up off the floor. We just want that nice line of energy up the side. Down, and the other one up. And then coming back. Bring one arm forward, and as you do this, we'll bring it like this, forearm down. I'm going to take the other hand, and we're just going to gently pull back a little. So these are things that can help the wrist, help to strengthen the wrist. And as I said during the interview, I can see this sometimes with my students, the other arm, who are cupping. They're not pressing into the finger pads and such. So we just practice at it. We just continue to practice. So just stretching those a little bit. And then bring one arm up, bring the fingertips to the back and the other hand to the elbow as we open up. And then releasing, taking the other one down, just opening up that chest area, stretching a little bit. releasing. Draw one arm across, and you can either hold right here, or if you want a little extra stretch, you can bring the arm up. So just stretching the arm and the shoulder. And then releasing, drawing the other either this way or this way. A little more stretch there. And then releasing. Inhale the arms up, touch the back of the wrist. Exhale down, bring your hands to that full extension, press down. You may have to lift up, it just depends on how long your arms are. Again, inhaling, bring the wrists together. Come down, press down, full extension. Again, coming down. And then bring your hands, bring your elbows in close to your sides, and bring your palms up. And then just rotate the hands towards the thumb side. And then bring them over. Rotate them back. Make a loose fist. Point the knuckles towards each other. Extend the fingers. Stretching the fingers. Just stretching the fingers. And then once more, let's go back to that position. Let's roll those thumbs out. Roll them in. Back out. Loose fist, knuckles pointing, fingers extended. So we're just doing all these little exercises that help to work the wrist. And the other thing that's really good for the wrist is this simple gesture of greeting, namaskar. And this, also called the Anjali Mudra, where we press the palms together. So one good thing to do is to just try to separate the tips a little. Can do this. Also, a little bending of the fingers side to side is good. And you can also lift from prayer, straight up, bringing the elbows together and opening the arms. Close the fingers, bring them down. Come back up, bring the arms together, open the fingers, close, bring them down. Inhale up, exhale to prayer. Let's extend our legs long. And we'll just tap them a little bit. Point and flex the feet. And just wiggling the toes, stretching the toes. And then bring your feet to this position. Lift the toes up, bring your hands between. Lift your chest. Keep the knees in, don't let them roll out. Take a breath. Exhale, drop the head, pull the tummy back. Inhale up. Exhale down. Come back up. Let's come up to table position on the mat, on the blanket for a minute. We'll just come up to the blanket. It's a little easier on the knees. So we come down to table. Now here's a good place to take a look at what you're doing. Take a look at your hands, making sure the fingers are either parallel or pointing slightly outwards. The hands are right under the shoulders. The knees are right under the hips. And we make sure that the feet pointing back are nice and straight and they're flat on the mat. We're going to inhale to flat back. And as we inhale, let your gaze be up. Now exhale and round and tuck. Make a little pelvic tilt here. Straighten the arms, strengthen them. Inhale, come up, look up. Exhale, tuck. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to a flat back, tap the feet. Now, the good thing about cat-cow is that's a great strengthener for the wrist. And in fact, if your wrists bother you a lot, move the hands forward a little bit, if that will help to improve that. But it is a perfect exercise for doing the wrist. So let's take the blanket off, and we'll come down just for a moment to the mat. Again, we'll come into table. But we move the hands forward now for down dog. So we're going to move those forward, the same hand position as I just mentioned. Shoulder width apart, toes about the same as the hands, tuck the toes, lift the back of the body up towards the ceiling and the back wall, extending that, let the head drop. Keep your shoulders wide. Don't lock your elbows, but make them strong. Make the arms strong, but not locked. And then move into plank pose. Let the gaze come in front of the mat. Let the buttocks drop, but the tummy stays up. Come back up to down dog. Way up on the feet. And lower the heels. Come into plank again. Draw the right knee to the chest. Tuck it under the other leg. Curl the toes. Come back. Draw the other one in. Underneath, curl the toes. Stretch the feet. Keep the top of the body the same. Come back into plank. Come to child's pose. Knees apart, toes together. Rest the head. Shake the wrist out. So again, if you're having a lot of problems with your wrist, you really want to stay off them for a bit. And just take it easy on them. You can go back and forth between them. So now we're going to come up to standing. And as I mentioned, a lot of the problems are with that not having a full extension, so doing some of this stuff is really good. Let's come to the front of the mat, in this direction. Make your feet hip distance in Tadasana. We make sure the chin is level, tummy is tucked back, shoulders are released down from the ears. We soften the knees a little. Bring the hands to the hips. Raise, bear down on your left foot a little. Don't lock your knee, but put the weight there. And lift your toe either here or up. Bring the hands to prayer. Getting a gaze point. Bring your hands back to your hips. Step back with that foot. Straighten the front leg. Bring the torso towards that. Lengthen up with the spine. Fold. Come down either to your leg, your shin, wherever you can reach, to the floor, wherever is good for you. Taking a breath. Bring the hands to the hips. Use your legs to bring yourself up. Now let's move into that warrior two. You can shift your position a little bit. We've all done this before, so the heel is about to the middle of the arch. Straightening that front leg. We bring the torso towards the place we're standing. Now, let's extend the arms. Remember we talked about this during the interview. For a moment, pretend you're breathing in through your palms. Bring that energy through the palms. Firm the upper arms. Now watch as I do that. The shoulder blades move down the back, and that's where it's stronger. Now in Warrior Two, we're going to bend that forward knee so it's right over the ankle. We gaze out over the hand. Bring the gaze over the hand, but not the torso, so don't go like this. Keep your torso nice and straight. Bring your front arm down, an extended side angle. We keep the arm with the head. We keep the ribs rolled back, but don't bring your arm past your shoulder. Come up, straighten that front leg. Reach forward. Come down in Trikonasana. If your neck is healthy, gazing towards your thumb. You can keep your head here if it bothers you. Come back up. Move again to Warrior Two. Come up. Bring the feet forward. Make sure they're even in parallel. Keep checking your feet too. After a while, you'll train them. Extend the arms. Inhale. Exhale. Up. 5-point star. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Up. Now, bring your arms above, extend up, come down, grab your ankles if you can, or wherever you can. Just go to wherever you're able. Soothing the nervous system. Bring the hands down in front if you're able. Let the weight shift a little more to the front of the feet. Take a breath. And then just come up, bringing the feet together, either hopping or bringing them together. Inhale, round the shoulders. Exhale, back. Inhale up. Exhale, back. Inhale up. Exhale, back. Bring your shoulders right up to your ears. Exhale, ha, ha. Bring them up. Exhale, ha, ha. Once again. Exhale, ha, ha. Let's step now again to the front of the mat, because whenever we do anything on one side, we always have to do it on the other side in yoga. Again, we come into that nice Tadasana position. We make sure the crown of the head lifts, but not the chin. Shoulders move back a little, chest forward a little, nothing exaggerated. And we ground down on the opposite foot. Well, bring the hands to the hips. Foot doesn't feel straight there. Okay, and then bringing the other one up. Bring your hands to prayer position, getting a gaze point. Back to the hips, step back. Move your torso over towards that foot that's out front. Extend the spine upwards, bend forward, bring the hands down to wherever you can go. Taking a breath. Both legs are nice and strong. Bring the hands to the hips, engage the legs, and come up. I'm just going to move around the other way so we can see here. And then bring yourself back into that warrior two position. Bring the torso forward. Extend the arms. Again, take that breath into the palms. Let the shoulder blades move down the back. Bend the forward knee in warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Keep that back leg well grounded. Bring the arm down, extended side angle, reaching over. And for some of you that have been watching, these poses are probably getting familiar. We always can make improvement to our postures. Coming back up, straighten the front leg, reach forward, extend that spine, come down. Look up. Trikonasana, triangle, opening up the throat and chest. We'll be hitting the throat chakra at the end, so this helps with that. Coming up, once more to warrior two. And warrior is so named for our battle against self-ignorance. Come back up, bring the feet to center. Get yourself aligned, feet parallel, even. Extend the arms. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up. Down. Up. Down. Inhale. Exhale. Up to center. Raise the arms. Extend up. Reach for the ankles. Look back behind you. Bring your hands to the floor, if you're able. So no matter where you are in your postures, just stay with it. You'll get better at it as time goes on. And then come together, bringing the feet together and coming up. Inhale, lift the toes, spread them. Exhale down. Inhale, come up on the toes. Bring the hands together above the head, just strengthening the feet and the ankles all the way up, and then coming down. And you'll find that your balance may be better on one day than the other. It might be better on one side of the body than on the other. So that's just perfectly fine. So let's come down. We're going to come down once more to a position on the mat. I'm going to have you move into position for down dog and tuck the toes. Come up, lift your right leg way back up, and then bring it through into Anjaneyasana. Now, if you have to drag your leg through, that's okay. That's what I did for years. Just make sure that this does not overextend your ankle. It's okay to be back here, not okay to be over. Now bring your arm, if you can. Now you can drop your back knees. If you want to modify, just drop the back knee. It's not a big deal. Either way, your brain recognizes a lot of it anyway. Coming up. And then into jet airplane, extending back. Bring the hands down, drop the back knee, come back, come to child's pose. Toes together, knees back. Grab your block and rest your head. And then we'll come up and we'll do the other side, of course. So we move the hands forward, tuck the toes, come up. And then just lifting the opposite leg up in the air, tuck it towards your chest, bring it through. I always have a little harder time on that side. It's a little less graceful, so we just keep working at it. And then you can either drop that back knee or stay where you are, coming up, just balancing a little bit. Grounding down with the front foot, creating resistance with the back. Go into jet airplane, bringing the arms behind. Bring the hands down, drop the back knee and the other foot, and just come back to child's pose for a moment. And then we'll come up. I just did want to show you for 1 minute, I want to show you how the wedge is used. So if you do have a real problem that's ongoing with your wrists, this might be a tool that's useful for you. So you're just going to do the down dog much the same way, but it takes some of the relief off of the pump pads, because here's what's happening. When people are in these positions, and when you come out of it, and you're going to see it right here with me, the area that's red is where you're bearing down on, and you can see where I'm hitting is right here. But what we really want to do is focus on the fingertips. Especially, you can even do this exercise on the floor or on a table when you're standing there. You're pressing down with all 5 fingers, but it's specifically focusing on the thumb, the index, and the pinky, and cupping the hand. That'll bring strength to your hands. So you can do that. So when we get in that down dog pose, we want to make sure that we're trying to move into the fingertips. Take some conscious thinking about this. As you can see, I still tend to go back to that. People put too much pressure here, and that's why you got problems with the hands. So that's one of the corrections you want to try to make in yoga. Let's come back up to standing for a moment. Come to the top of the mat. We're going to do warrior 1. So we're going to come into the same position, Tadasana. In this case, though, let's put our hands to our hips first. Step back with 1 foot at about a 45-degree angle. Your knee is basically facing that foot there, knee facing this foot here. Torso moves to the front, never yanking, but just gently persuading it to go in that direction over time. Bring the arms up, not close as we usually do, but more like you're holding a beach ball. Bend the front leg, 90 degrees again. Keep the back leg lifted. Drop the arms, straighten the leg. Inhale, exhale, up, bend the knee. Inhale, exhale. And then coming down, hands to hips, step forward. Come back into your Tadasana position. Inhale, raise the toes. Exhale, place them down. We always go for that grounding of the feet in yoga, stabilizing. It is the foundation. Hands to hips, step back with the other foot, angled out slightly. Move your torso forward. Extend your arms. Inhale. Exhale, bend the forward knee. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Drop the arms, straighten the knee. Inhale. Exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale. And drop the hands, bring the hands to the hips, stepping forward. And then coming back to the middle. So we're going to just step touch a little. So we're going to go over the foot, back, and over, and back. And as we do that, we cross the midline of the body, and we add the arms. We make connections between the left and right sides of the brain when we do this. It's always fun in class. I call us the yoga-ettes when we're doing this in class, and it's always kind of funny to watch people do it. And it's good for you. And then coming back to center. Inhale, forward fold. Looking back between the legs, resting. Should not feel this in the back. Bend your knees a little if you have any sensation of that in the back. The stretch should be in the back of the legs. Uttanasana. Ut meaning intense, tan is stretch. Loosen the knees, come up ragdoll style, head last. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands to heart center. Inhale the hands up. Exhale down. Step a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Bring the hands out in front. Inhale up. Bend the knees a little. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Coming back up. Come to the center. Bring your feet under your hips directly. We'll try chair. We'll try Uttanasana. So we bring the arms up as vertical as possible, as close to the head as possible. And then we bend the knees, knees so that the thighs come parallel to the feet. So we come as far as we can. Of course, you can always modify by not coming down so far. And just bringing the arms down, interlace them. Open the chest. Release the hands and come up. Inhale the arms overhead. Float them down. Bring them behind you, interlace them. Move into a back bend, open the chest. Bring the head up to center, move down, bring the arms up behind. Check your feet, are they parallel and even? Always a good time to look. Come down, drop the arms. Inhale to prayer. Exhale. Draw the arms up, float them down behind you. Interlace them, push the pelvis forward. Come to center, come down, let the arms come up. Loosening the knees, let the hands go, come up. Inhale, lift and spread the toes. Exhale down. Okay, we're gonna come down just for one moment to the blanket, to the bolster, to the mat. And take your bolster with you if you have one. And if not, you can try it with a pillow. You can try it without the bolster too, depending where you're at. We're gonna come, first of all, we come into this position of camel, so the camel. So we send the knees into the mat. We make sure the feet are pointed flat back there. And then you can just put your bolster right across your legs. And then we lift, we want to lift up on the spine. And then we bring one hand back to each side as we move into camel, modified camel. Or you can do it without the bolster and come back to the heels. And, you know, people with back problems coming up, you want to go cautiously with anything like that. Let's come down on the floor, just down to the stomach for 1 minute. I've been up and down a lot today. But let's bring our forehead down to the floor. Bring the hands flat. Palms are up so the hands are flat down. Press down with the pelvis. Lift the hands, legs, head and chest up off the floor in locust. Take a breath. Don't stop breathing. Lower down. Bring your arms across in front of you. Bring one so that it comes right under your shoulder. The elbow's right under the shoulder. Palm is flat across. And then just take the other foot, that foot with the arm, and lift up. Push the foot into the hand and the foot, lift the chest. Half bow. Let that go. Bring the other arm across. Right under the shoulder. And take the other one. Lift. Just doing whatever you're able to do. And then releasing. Come up to child's pose and rest the head on your block. So we counter that back bend with a rounding forward. Now, you can come up, sit back on your heels. In fact, if you can, stretch your toes a little. The other thing you can do is use a tennis ball. Just squeezing it can help with the hands too. Rolling it. So you can always do that as a simple thing. Works great on the feet too. So we're going to move the bolster to the mat, and we'll just sit here. Now, if you have your blocks and you can support your knees, that would be good. We never want the knees hanging. So we're going to focus for a moment on Ujjayi breath. So this is a breath that we do through the nose. It creates an ocean sound. And that is done via the glottis, which is the folds of the vocal cord. So as we constrict the throat and thus the airways, we create this whispering sound. You can usually hear it yourself. Maybe you can even hear your partner, the person next to you. So we inhale, and we'll do 3 deep breaths, making that ocean sound. So just constrict at the back of the throat a little. Now we're going to focus for a moment on the throat chakra. So we're going to close our eyes, bring the hands up on the knees, on the thighs. We focus on the throat. And in that area, we picture a 16-petal sky blue lotus flower. The throat chakra is the seat of our communication. And when it's open, we're good listeners. And we can express ourselves and be more creative. It's the center of our faith, whatever that might mean to you. In the physical body, it's associated with the endocrine system and with the hearing and speaking organs. It can present and manifest physically as sore throat or jaw problems, these types of things, headaches. So we'll do the seed sound, which is hum, and we're going to inhale and do that 3 times, starting now. Hum. And now we'll move into Shavasana, bringing the bolster beneath your legs and a pillow beneath your head. Just resting for a few moments as we bring our attention back to the rise and the fall of your breath. We allow our thoughts to just remain descended for a little period of time. We know that we have much to do later, but for now we rest here. And as you rest, I will read to you. We arrive on this planet empty-handed. We all will soon leave empty-handed. So then, how and in what spirit do we want to spend the time in between? Bring your attention to your feet and allow them to relax. Let the back body relax, releasing the shoulders, resting the hands, the wrists that we've worked on today. We rest the legs on the bolster. We relax the head, the ears, the neck. We release the corners of the mouth and relax the tongue and the throat. We soften the corners of the eyes and relax all the muscles of the face. The face is the only place in the body where the muscles are directly linked to the skin. Rest your mind. And then gently begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. And just roll to your side and bring yourself to a simple seated position. Bring the hands to heart center. Gently lift the sternum. Press the pinky and the thumb together as you raise the lotus blossom above the crown of the head and allow it to fill with blessings. Gather that into your heart center. Bow the busy, intellectual, intelligent mind to the more intuitive wisdom of the heart. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way home. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.